This is going to talk about sexual harassment, so heads up. In the state of California, there are two different standards when it comes to sexual harassment at work. The first standard is if there is a coworker harassing a coworker. So think about people who are at the same level as you, or think about people who may be your subordinate. The second standard is if it is a supervisor harassing or sexually harassing one of their subordinates. There's a second standard there. So if you are getting harassed by a coworker, you need to report that. You need to report that harassment. You need to file a complaint with HR, and you need to tell a manager. If you don't do any of those things, then the employer does not have any notice of the harassment occurring, so then they can't do anything about it. So a lot of harassments don't end up in lawsuits, but if you end up in a lawsuit, then that decreases the liability of the employer because the employer didn't have any notice. Crazy. Now, the second standard is if it's a supervisor harassing a subordinate. That standard is different because technically, if you're being harassed, you're supposed to report it to a supervisor. You're supposed to report it to a manager. But if your manager or supervisor is the person doing the harassing, who else are you supposed to report that to? So in that situation, in the second situation, the employer has imputed knowledge. The employer is deemed to have known about that harassment that has been going on because the person who is perpetrating it is the person who is supposed to be the person you're supposed to report to. It's supposed to be the safety person. In that situation, the employer does not need notice in order to be liable. Just want to give you that heads up. Know your rights, and welcome to San Jose.